timonero que guías los seres ordinarios que aún deben ser domados. Ser supremo, maestro de todos los dioses y los hombres. Buda, destructor de enemigos. Glorioso y victorioso ser Shakyamuni. Ante ti me postro y a ti voy por refugio. Maestro, destructor de enemigos. Asido, Buda completa y perfectamente despierto, dotado con sabiduría y conducta ejemplar. Ido al gozo, timonero que guías los seres ordinarios que aún deben ser domados. Ser supremo, maestro de todos los dioses y los hombres. Buda, destructor de enemigos. Glorioso y victorioso ser Shakyamuni. Ante ti me postro y a ti voy por refugio. Maestro, destructor de enemigos. Asido, Buda completa y perfectamente despierto, dotado con sabiduría y conducta ejemplar. Ido al gozo, timonero que guías los seres ordinarios que aún deben ser domados. Ser supremo, maestro de todos los dioses y los hombres. Buda, destructor de enemigos. Glorioso y victorioso ser Shakyamuni. Ante ti me postro y a ti voy por refugio. Así lo oí. Una vez el bendito estaba residiendo en Trayegrilla, en la montaña llamada Pico del Buitre, junto a una gran asamblea de monjes y una gran asamblea de bodhisattvas. En ese momento, el bendito entró al Samadhi, que expresa el Dharma llamado iluminación profunda, y al mismo tiempo, el noble Avalokiteshvara, el bodhisattva Mahasattva, mientras practicaba la profunda perfección de la sabiduría, vio lo siguiente. Vio que los 5 skandhas son de la naturaleza del vacío. Entonces, por el poder del Buda, el venerable Shariputra le preguntó al noble Avalokiteshvara, el bodhisattva Mahasattva, ¿cómo debe entrenar un hijo o una hija de familia noble que quiere practicar la profunda perfección de la sabiduría? Entonces el noble Avalokiteshvara, el bodhisattva Mahasattva, le contestó al venerable Shariputra, oh Shariputra, un hijo o una hija de familia noble que desea practicar la profunda perfección de la sabiduría debe practicar así, viendo lo siguiente, que los 5 skandhas son de la naturaleza del vacío. La forma es el vacío. El vacío también es la forma. El vacío no es otra cosa que la forma. La forma no es otra cosa que el vacío. De la misma manera, los sentimientos, las percepciones, las formaciones mentales y la conciencia también son el vacío. Por lo tanto, Shariputra, todos los dharmas son el vacío. No existen las características, no existe el nacimiento ni la cesación. No hay impureza y no hay pureza. No hay merma ni hay aumento. Por lo tanto, Shariputra, en el vacío no hay forma, sentimiento, percepción, formación mental ni conciencia. No hay ojos, oídos, nariz, lengua, cuerpo o mente. No hay apariencias, ni sonidos, ni olores, ni sabores, ni tacto, ni dharmas. No hay dhatu de los ojos y así hasta el dhatu de la mente y conciencia. No hay ignorancia ni fin de la ignorancia hasta la vejez y la muerte. No hay fin de la vejez y de la muerte. No hay sufrimiento ni origen del sufrimiento, ni cesación del sufrimiento, ni sendero, ni sabiduría, ni logro, ni ausencia de logro. Por lo tanto, Shariputra, ya que los bodhisattvas no tienen logros, moran en la profunda perfección de la sabiduría. Como no hay oscuración en la mente, no hay tampoco temor. Trascienden lo falso y alcanzan el nirvana total. Todos los budas de los 3 tiempos, a través de la práctica de la profunda perfección de la sabiduría, despiertan completamente a la iluminación insuperable, verdadera y total. Por lo tanto, el gran mantra de la profunda perfección de la sabiduría, el mantra de la gran percepción, el mantra insuperable, el mantra inigualado, el mantra que calma todo sufrimiento, debe ser conocido como la verdad, ya que no contiene falsedad, El mantra de la profunda perfección de la sabiduría es
Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Buddhi So Tayata 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 Gate Paragate Samgate Buddhi So Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate 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 Buddhi So.
Por lo tanto, Shariputra, el Bodhisattva Mahasattva debe entrenarse en la profunda perfección de la sabiduría. Entonces el bendito salió del Samadhi y elogió al noble Avalokiteshvara, el Bodhisattva Mahasattva, diciendo: bien dicho, así es. Oh hijo de noble familia, así es. Se debe practicar la profunda perfección de la sabiduría, así como has explicado, y todos los tathagatas se regocijarán. Cuando el bendito dijo estas palabras, el venerable Shariputra y el noble Avalokiteshvara, el Bodhisattva Mahasattva, y toda la asamblea de dioses, humanos, asuras y gandharvas se regocijaron y alabaron las palabras del bendito. Voy por refugio hasta alcanzar la iluminación, al Buda, al Dharma y a la Asamblea Suprema, por los méritos que acumule practicando la generosidad y demás perfecciones que pueda obtener el estado de Buda para beneficiar a todos los seres. Voy por refugio hasta alcanzar la iluminación, al Buda, al Dharma y a la Asamblea Suprema, por los méritos que acumule practicando la generosidad y demás perfecciones, que pueda obtener el estado de Buda para beneficiar a todos los seres. Voy por refugio hasta alcanzar la iluminación, al Buda, al Dharma y a la Asamblea Suprema. Por los méritos que acumule practicando la generosidad y demás perfecciones, que pueda obtener el estado de Buda para beneficiar a todos los seres.
Okay. So, from from Buddhist point of view, happiness, concept of happiness, and particularly what really means ultimate happiness. So, happiness liberation be one of the example of ultimate happiness. Enlightenment will be one of the example of happiness, ultimate happiness. So now, why from the this kind of way of thinking, liberation will be one of the ultimate happiness. Enlightenment will be one of the ultimate happiness. So we use those different terminology, liberation and enlightenment. What that really means is we're just talking the same thing from different labels, or there's really two different things. Nevertheless, I think liberation is something that individual practitioners really concentrated, that I want to purify and overcome from all the afflictions and imprints of afflictions, and based on this kind of intention, taking the journey into the path, and then able to obtain that kind of state, overcoming from all those seeds and imprints. So that's the one so-called liberation. Okay. Now enlightenment is basically based on the intention in wish to benefit. Intention can be great compassion, and based on this kind of journey, going through the spiritual path and overcoming all the limitation. So that's the enlightenment. So fundamentally, enlightenment and the liberation, basically the intention is different. Sometimes, sometimes do you feel like when you're meditating compassion, I want to liberate all sentient beings, then you feel, who am I? I can do these things. Look at myself. I have so many suffering that I'm not able to manage, and now I'm meditating to liberating all sentient beings' suffering. And then, there's this kind of like a, common experience when you're trying to do a meditation in compassion. We might get that kind of things. Now, some individual, not necessarily this kind of like a self-contradiction, but from the practical point of view, liberating all sentient beings is a really good idea. Maybe it's not practical, realistic. What is possible and what is practical is liberating myself from my limitation, based on observing and assessing in my own experience. I think this is realistic, and I will make a prayer and dedication for everybody can do that. But there's this way of thinking affects individuals' intention, what you're doing. And in ancient time, it have this kind of philosophically, way of thinking different, and individual experience a way of thinking different, way they engage in a spiritual journey. Okay, so like for example, like a Nagarjuna, he from his approach. From his point of view, individual liberation way of approaching is he feel like limited. And the Bodhisattva way of thinking, approaching enlightenment or liberation, is much more encouraged and it is much more powerful. So that's kind of like the, there's this kind of like a two different way of approach. So now the next question will come, is enlightenment is just project, or liberation is just like my project? I have one project. One of my project, I want to, maybe a friend of mine, I told you yesterday, she wants to, actually she mentioned she wants to become enlightenment when she is 35. And she wants to become, then, because of the situation, she postponed. So maybe we should make a liberation in 35 and enlightenment in 50. And then we retired. Okay, so, so now, now the concept of ultimate happiness, and what is happiness? Conventionally, when we say happiness, I'm happy. How we define happy? Happiness. When we say I'm happy, just kind of like a feeling of joy that makes me happy, or how we define happiness? Joyful. No problem exists. So, like, how we define happiness? And when you say, like, this person is happy, sometimes we say that person is a very happy person. Which kind of conventional base we think this person is a very happy person? Smiling. Easygoing. Not troublemaker. No stress. Okay. Some kind of easygoing. So happiness, happy person. So we very much look at into that, that person is a happy person. So we look at those external signs, so we kind of look at it. So can we go one more further beyond these external signs? Smiling, easygoing, laid back, maybe from Portland. Well, Portland people are mostly laid back. So how we, if we go beyond that external things, happy, these are the external sign. So really what is happiness means inside that person. Outside this character, but inside how we define the happiness. Yeah? Content. Okay, that's good one. Content.
Doesn't look at the problem, but at the solution. That I guess, I'm trying to say that maybe that person doesn't look so much at the problem, but at the solution at the same time. They see the problem.
Solution? Oh, hold on. I got distracted. Because you told me you're not sure, so I lose my attention. You should tell me I'm very much sure, then I have to focus.
I'm sure
Okay.
Okay, no. That I guess the person, an internal sign of a happy person, but maybe in that mind, that person doesn't see problems as big, but because sees the solutions.
Okay. Sometimes you don't see the problem big because you got used with the problem. you are kind of like a mute. You know, if you're staying next to the heavy traffic, if your house is close to the, because there's a one story, a friend of mine, you know, in Portland, in her friend from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and she came to visit in Portland, and then she came to visit, and the night she couldn't sleep in Portland, and she said she couldn't sleep. Why? She said because it's so quiet. She's used to noise to sleep. So it's so quiet, she couldn't sleep. Something's wrong. So again, I'm just trying to so like not seeing big, you know, even, you know, you have sometimes problem gets kind of like used to that kind of mind. And maybe mind is bored with that problem. Maybe there's some other things he's looking for. Okay, so no, not seeing that problem as a big problem. I think they have to a little bit clarify that. You know, like it have many different layers. Not seeing that problem as a really big deal. Maybe once upon a time it was a really big deal, but then in somehow either through understanding or either through transforming. You know, somehow, maybe through the mind get bored with that problem. You know, one of those things through that, you know, kind of, it became kind of like a no big deal, isn't it? So I think we have to look at. So I'm going back to satisfaction is the happiness. What you think? Satisfaction. You know, everybody agree. Okay, what really means satisfaction? No desire. Huh? No desire. No desire. Not resisting the way things are. Okay. Bodhisattva is very ambitious, huh? You know, are they satisfied, or can satisfaction and ambition can go side by side, or either you be ambition or either you're satisfied? Is these two contradicting, or what? How we see this? Can we be ambitious in your life, but at the same time, satisfaction? Possible? Hmm? Okay. What you mean in yourself?
I'm ambitious
Mm-hmm.
for how I want to give to the world
Mm-hmm.
or help, but I personally don't need anything more.
Okay. So something that, so then, okay, individual can be ambitious into your own personal, let me put in your personal life. Not so much thinking that I want to make something big change in the society and the community, but once you become ambitious into your own personal life, that becomes a contradicts with how you say, satisfaction.
But if you're ambitious and that consumes you, then it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ambitious and at the same time satisfied in your life,
Mm-hmm.
it can go side by side. What you're doing
Mm-hmm.
in work or something, you can be ambitious in that for whatever reason, but at the same time you're satisfied with yourself where you are. At the point in your life you are, and that ambitiousness does not consume you.
Consumes means what you mean that? Consumes means?
That it does not overcome. That's ambitious is all what it is, and it does not matter what you do to attain that point, to get to that level. You can.
Then how the the function of a dissatisfaction and how you say, so let me look this way. Being very ambitious in your life, but at the same time being totally comfortable and satisfied where you are. These can be together. Okay. Huh? Frustrated. Frustrated. Okay. And there's many factors. Right now, we are so much looking into the state of the mental action itself, you know, ambitious, same time totally satisfied where you are. These things doesn't contradict. This can be together. This, okay. Okay, now if we look at it a little carefully, like, what's the kind of like a mental character and behavior of the dissatisfaction? Restless. You can be ambitious and also be frustrated, restless. These whole things can, you know, side by side with the very ambitious. These can be happen together. What do you think? So ambitious, the satisfaction. What do you think? Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, so mainly I think I do think also the motivation play, I think, is a very important role. You know, the one way to look at it, based on a, you know, based on a kind of like a, you know, based on a selfish intention, can we, is this possible to engage into being into state of a satisfaction? You know, based on a selfish intention. Based on a selfish intention, is this possible to engage into the being into satisfied state? No. So once you have a selfish intention, is naturally you end up into a dissatisfaction. Okay. Once you have a, you know, intention of a wish to help, okay. Based on a compassion, is it possible to be in a dissatisfied state? Huh? Huh? If based on a compassion, if you can be a dissatisfied state, then why not, based on a selfish intention, you can be satisfied state? Okay, anyway, I'm not trying to confuse you. Okay, so I think this whole thing is trying to looking, you know, one thing, all these exercising with, because our emotion and our emotion behaviors are really which is leading our life. You know, so therefore, some way to kind of, you know, this driving force in our life, we need to little bit kind of like observe and, you know, Venerable Rubina, she says, squeeze the brain. So we need to little bit squeeze those emotions and trying to look at it a little bit different perspective. And I think that ultimately, I think the intention, I think that ultimately, whatever emotions manifest in a different form, ultimately, the intention is the intention is the key factor. Okay. Now another thing is, I want to inner contradiction. Sometimes we have internal contradiction. I think the principal practice of forgiveness is the way to solving inner contradiction. Okay, and the practice of forgiveness, what I feel is a practice of in a Buddhist practice, we call this practice of a four-pointed power practice. There's a meditation in a compassion, in a faith. Then there's a meditation into reflection for the action, past action or present action. There's a reflection into that. Then there is a way to processing all those experience, past experience and present experience. Okay, and then there is a practice of some kind of nature of a prayer or dedication or commitment. There can be many different layers. I think usually these 4 steps are, from the Buddhist practice point of view, they are applied for purifying. So we call karmic purification. Karmic purification practice. I think this 4-step way of practicing is we can also apply into a practice of forgiveness. I think okay, so obviously forgiveness practice is trying to opening your path. It is a practice to moving forward. Okay, inner contradiction. Basically, it is not so much, not necessarily when you say stuck. It is just basically circling. Basically, you're going through the same situation. I think one thing, even any time when we feel inner contradiction or problem, sometimes we look at it to solving that problem or solving that inner contradiction is maybe, kind of, I can make a clarity into that. I think the best method, inner contradiction, to moving to solving inner contradiction is, I think the best thing is to establishing clear path how to moving forward. Basically, you are trying to, what you're trying to do is not to caught your energy that's circling and same thing doing. How to move your energy forward. And for such a case, like this practice of a four-pointed power, this practice is something that example for us how to move forward. Like I think that's the main thing. Forgiveness is a practice. Forgiveness practice is also something to how to move forward. How to, when you say to move forward, what that really means, I feel like how I can liberate it from myself from past, how I can free myself from past. something, when you say, how I can free from my past, I think this is not about forgetting and erasing our past, but how I can not get stuck into that past and how I can move forward. I don't want to go to detail, but recently, I have some experience. There's a complicated situation came on. Then I brought up plan. What is the best for the future? Not trying to solve the present problem. It is solving the present problem, but not so much focus into the problem, but the focus into the solution. And everything went smooth. So I think we did the same thing. Sometimes we have a contradiction comes up, then we give a focus into the contradiction. Don't give the, we have to pay attention for the contradiction, so we have a very clear plan and steps to move on. Okay, so basically these four, practice of a compassion and faith, and practice of a reflection into the past action and being aware, and then the practice of processing those past experience. Sometimes done based on a powerful mantra, such as the Vajrasattva mantra, and that's basically you have a strong faith and conviction for Vajrasattva. And sometimes individuals, what they do is a meditation of a wisdom meditation in the emptiness. Somehow you go through internally trying to, kind of like losing up all the nuts, and you're internally trying to purify all the, toxins, that kind of meditation of emptiness, wisdom realizing emptiness. So that's, so there's a two way of doing, but ultimately you have to, these two have to be together, and the fourth level of sometimes as a dedication, as a prayer, and sometimes once you're strong enough, you put into kind of like a commitment into being much more stronger into not to involve and not to caught into those things. Okay, so then what really means emptiness? Okay, this you might heard this, and some of you already have studied very much, and this word emptiness, if you hear from the first time, I think it's a very annoying word, emptiness. Emptiness, what that means? Is this word emptiness, is the answer or what? It is a statement, or it is just answering, or is just statement, or what is this emptiness? What that really means? Okay. When you look at it, emptiness, it looks like it is the answer. Something's the word emptiness never becomes question. I think it looks like some kind of conclusion. Now, sometimes we hear this word emptiness very annoying because we have a different question. The question that doesn't match with the answer. So you get annoyed, okay? Because, anyway, so how individual person do meditation of emptiness? And I think there's many different approach, but at the beginning, I think the best thing is meditation of emptiness is there's a 4 different steps. Also, it was explained in the instruction. Within these 4, I think the first step is called recognizing. In a philosophical terminology, called recognizing the object of negation. So, individual practitioners, meditators, they are not afraid to bringing very powerful memories. Because their plan is to go beyond that powerful memory. And in the practice, individuals sometimes bringing those very powerful emotions, anger, hatred, or jealousy, or fear, but their intention from the beginning, they want to bring those powerful emotions and really feel those powerful emotions, and at the same time, they want to look more deeper into that. So that is the plan when you're doing meditation in emptiness. When you're trying to looking, really to looking, for a certain extent, you have to be very courage. You have to have a clear plan where you are going. You have to know which kind of experience you're going to face. So the point is, you're looking into really deep down into your emotion and trying to finding what's really holding you back. Is that powerful emotion itself, or the anger itself, or frustration itself, or insecure feeling itself? Or there's something behind, or still there's something. And meditation in emptiness, practitioners are really trying to reach there, not to get distracted into those emotions, not to get. So this is the meditation in emptiness practitioners' first challenge, is not to get distracted and not get caught into those powerful emotions, but you are trying to go through those powerful emotions and trying to look at it, the depth of that emotion. Okay. And I think what in the instruction comes is the state of some kind of like let me say, all the emotions are very strong gravity. It have a gravity. It just grabs you. It just pulls you. And when you go beyond that, state of without gravity, but same time, sense of I, sense of self, even sense of ego. Basically, ego without gravity. Make sense? Okay, anyway, you know what I'm saying. It's something that the state of. So basically, where you're trying to go in the meditating emptiness, I heard some scientists, Russian scientists, they went and do some Shine meditation they're looking how gravity in fact our concentrations and our memory, and they're looking when you go to the zero gravity, how our emotion and our concentration. I heard some Russian experiment did, and I'm not sure is it really true or not. But anyway, the meditation of emptiness basically going through this kind of like a very subtle level of observing of an ego. Ego without any kind of protection. Usually ego is full of protection. So this is what really, step number one, we call object of negation. You're trying to look at ego without protection. Ego without armor. Ego without armor. Ego without armor. So I think this is where it's trying to go first. Then really applying emptiness. Okay, what really means emptiness? So I think usually in a college and in your studies, what is the prerequisite? To do this, you have to have a prerequisite. All these things. So to able to do a really deep and profound meditation in emptiness, prerequisite is to able to see and able to observe ego without armor. I think that's one way to look at it. Okay. Then through this, when you're trying to walk, you're starting to walking with your challenge, starting with the ego without armor, when you're working through that, I think this is a really thorough purification. Thoroughly you're processing your karma. It is a deep cleansing. Anyway, there's this, something that you go, even through your subconscious level. Sometimes, conscious level you can be aware and recognizing, even you're going through the, purifying and cleansing even a cleansing, even a subconscious level. Okay. So fundamentally, what I'm trying to communicate over here is in a daily practice. I think end of the day is very important to have a short time of a practice of a purification. Okay, even just at the beginning, maybe you just designate it and recognize it as a purification practice, and just reciting several mantras and trying to kind of like contemplating or reflecting into forgiveness. It don't have to be elaborated practice. Very simple and short time, and kind of really kind of pay attention into that. And that seed can really gradually, through understanding and through consistent and through the continuity of your own practice, kind of short. Okay, that's, I think, very important. Then, of course, if you're doing a wonder accumulation, then it requires some level of, recitation of the things. But other than that, the usual in a sadhana and the things, it's very important that you move beyond the recitation. Something that you can just feel through refuge and bodhicitta and four imageable and these things that just you touch through your emotional process rather than something that you have to say it. Sometimes, individual person can have all, feeling of a refuge and a bodhicitta and a four imageable practice in simultaneously. You can have this whole feeling simultaneously for in 1 second. Okay, so in that kind of, I think we have to bring our practice into going beyond the verbal recitation, except if you are accumulating. Okay, sadhana or anything is something that the verbal recitation is just kind of like orienting yourself. Any kind of sadhana when you're trying to recite, the first step is just trying to orienting. After orientation, then it should be a very spontaneity and very experienced nature, rather than is kind of like again reciting. Okay, so bringing your practice into going beyond the verbal recitation, except accumulations or wonder. Okay, and purification practice. So purification practice, having part of your daily practice. Basically, simply, either the step number 1 is a compassion feeling, or devotion feeling, or conviction feeling. That's kind of the foundation. And then any kind of powerful experience, whatever happened today or past, then reflect into it. And what you do is, something that not to get caught into that kind of like experience, but you're being aware. Okay, that's kind of like you have to prepare. And the third is basically trying to let go and trying to creating some kind of liberation and freedom for yourself through those experiences. And that's kind of like a, like a inch by inch, you need to push further and further. There won't be not necessarily one day you have a huge gap, but inch by inch, one by one. It's just like you need to move and get the freedom from those karmic. That's the kind of the third step, and which includes some, mantras, bodhisattva mantras, or do some meditation in emptiness, or Heart Sutra mantra, or mainly, first you can do with a mantra, and then you have to move on to way to meditate in emptiness. Some way to you to bring, as I mentioned earlier, that's kind of like the way you start, okay, working with that. And then the fourth, you just do a short dedication. Start with a dedication, and gradually move that dedication into some kind of determination, something that you want to. Sometimes you have Thanksgiving, you have a really big dinner, then New Year you have big dinner, then you feel that now I need to stop this one. You feel and okay. Okay. Okay, so maybe that's okay. So today I thought maybe I'll do a short ritual cleansing practice, for all of you. Won't take too long. I think this was done by Kesang Rinpoche several years before, when we were in the old place. So I thought we'll do today little bit based on our good karmic relationship, and based on my own intention that just to kind of liberate from all the conceptual imputations, okay? So that's kind of like a basic things. So what I want to, while I'm going through the ritual, what I want you all to do is just recite Chenrezig mantra, okay, first. Okay, just silently, you do Chenrezig mantra, silently, and in your heart, maybe cultivate compassion, just stay compassion. Don't get distracted your compassion. Huh? Because sometimes you try and meditate compassion. This person, no, I'm not going to get compassion. I'll just do for this one. Don't get your compassion distract. And don't trying to, from the beginning, don't try to go too specific. Okay? Sometimes we have a habit, I'm doing compassion. Then you go so specific. The minute you try to go specific, then you have this one, no. This one I'll wait. Until this improves, then I'll meditate compassion. So I will say first, I will suggest be in a general, kind of that kind of observing. Then when the mind gets more stronger, then you move to the specific. So compassion, that feeling won't get distracted. Okay. So that's one approach. Sometimes different people have a different personality of a way of doing things. But anyway, feel compassion and then do a Chenvisik mantra, okay? And I'm going to go to do some ritual through this one. Vegi kingo yewe na doji girum ji ju dimba dunga de be shingine ne gomba de be shi ba wangi na zaum ba mo wangi wang mi ju be ge mbra ju so da ga da agam ba den bu be de be wangi gen de ne de ja ba ba de so jawa gungi kenze halam le tu jin dom ye ya ye de wa ye nam jin du je ba je be ban den ju on bu la ja za Ranumba Jumba Seve, Duga Nindin Yevu, Danga Jingo, the Ranchin, Zamana Zubanamba Jenda, Gava Seji, Jelatam, Seji, number Dune, Rama, Timber, Ju, Timber, Ju, Rama, Timber, Ju. Amazing bend down dog Lulu did it a bit of Hamidi home so I mean the home is all Namen senda bina dira bina hana senda bina dira bina hana umbezo namen senda hulu dira bina bina hana namen senda bina dira hulu amin bina bina hana namen de umbezo wa namen senda bina hulu dira bina hana amin de umbezo wa namen senda bina amin de umbezo wa namen senda bina umbezo wa namen senda bina dira bina Namazam Amin de home be so given in you to number Amin da gundale hana na home zombo so the mazambo Tombani do you tombe ngande tombani do you tombani do you tombani do you tombani tombe ngale bonne je vais me mo do je me mo je lo de menando Nozo bemon doji hun nozo doji hun yuzan bade le uzo de ni je zo do yon zo jo le to no mo kuno ko je je cha ni je zo ma cha yo je zo to ma yime na zo do je ri ku den ba ro ro zo je bo je gen da gen gen ba da win do je gi jung ji je ju mun jin ba do won lo se je be ran shin gi ne ne ko ba da be je bo da je da ngen na je da za ba mo won le won ga mi je be be ngen ba jo mo zo da da a ga ba tan be be de ga long gen gen New Shanda Bandi Zai Zowa Gyongi Exhibit to J. Dogi Yargi Dewan till the Namji to Pandin to Umbola Chat Dungi Juna Juma Seven. Mountain Chagola, Severan singing a Dudamje Chang, Kever, doing Shuju San Kuzungi, Namji, Junamachin. Mountain La Timbale, Tele, Zugimba, Bumba, Kamara, Ju. 초주 정선에 주는 바지고 고주 빠도매 버전데 겨버주 베두주 베누주 마다 베테마 예 너바 속이 텐도 초주지 슈바만나만 주바주 버두는데 너는 배도 좀 봐줘 예 오늘 정신 다 버주 잠자 deep body 이슬 제샤스터를 body this there's a king do you have one plate plate yeah. You can bring this these two baja only the baja. Yeah, this one, and also another one. Yeah, this one. Okay. So, you just grab like this, and then you make your this like this, okay, and then touch all around your body, okay, and your knees and everything. Concentrate. So, during this, when you're doing this and touching on your body, any kind of like a blockage energy or some kind of like a negative feeling, so you can just kind of like imagine it's kind of like a taking out, okay? 디바담 제신데 그래서 내는 제신데 그래서 내는 제신데 그래서 주담 제신데 그래서 내는 제신데 그래서 그남 제신데 그래서 디담 제신데 그래서 제담 제신데 그래서 맨 세만년 받음 제신데 라면 받음 세만년 뒤에만 배 지원 제신데 그래서 사다 주변에 받음 제신데 개보다 중요해 지거든 뒤에 잡아 신기하면 개당 노래는 바지미 되면 저담제 신된 구루 예소와 정신다데 남자다다다 디람네노노노노 도지로만 디람제 디바다다 내담제 신된 구루 예소와 저담제 되남제 신된 구루 예소와 림담제 신된 구루 예소와 저담제 신된 구루 예소와 대년 받음 제신데 그래서 아미는 내서 년 좀 싶은 스머니 받음 니와서 받은 뒤만 배치 받음 제신 서다 주에 내받는 예보다 중요히 주는 뒤에 샤받는 신제 번역 맞는 계단 오름 제신데 그래서 바지 미리 배셔담 제신데 그래서 바지 미리 배셔담 제신데 거로 예소와 도진는 받는 데보다 제신데 그래서 내담 제신데 그래서 내담 제신데 림담 제신데 그래서 근담 제신데 그래서 대담 제신데 그래서 주담 제신데 개원년 받음 제신에 대년 받음 제신에 민음 세만년 받음 좀 미시번 세모도 되거든 영어서 받음 지금 미시번 사다 주고 있는 게보다 충분히 주고 바지 미림 배초 담 제신된 거로 예소 Okay. Okay, now 점수 딘디 신다지 돼. 신다지. 저는 그래서 저는 전남지 신대 그래 린담지 신대 권남지 신대 린담지 전남지 신대 그래 저는 대님은 무슨 있다니면 여기서 받는 신대 그래서 뒤에 받는 신대 그래서. So then later you just kind of like a deep blow up from your deep, not just like from here, it's a deep blow up, and 3 times visual feel your negativity from the body, speech, and mind, kind of like throw out, and just blow this blow, deep blow. I say, you walk from here 3 times, okay? The 3 times is okay, don't flow too many times. Now, you pass through this bhaja, and almost like a double bhaja at your crown, at your here, and also to your 2 knee. Just feel like a kind of like a stabilizing your cleansing. Just everyone just you just pass through. This one go through this one. This one. Ganden jere manan de ban abana so ne damje abana so ne so denamje abana so jedamje abana so jedamje abana so tidamje abana so jedamje abana so jedamje abana so kebodan mi shibam jamna sho nyawar sabat jamna tu mai bi shibam jamna sho tu mi shibam jamna nyawar sabat jamna sho tu mai bi shibam jamna semana boda dengir banya sada juwa ni bam jamna kibuda chungji jibun jamna doyanda shodam jamna 신제 번역 받은 자문은 계단으로 되는 자문에 봐서 믿음이 쇼담지 아바 나야 수와 랑게 도는 뇌진 사바제베다게 되는 게 된도 꼭벌 대수샤스다 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 너나 좀 이제 받은 신대 고려에서 와기도 충분히 집은 누가 중국에 집어든 신대 고려에서 집어든 좀 계단 오래담 주신데 그래서 와서 여신이 요나 기르시는 점수 빼주고 있어. 님보다 저저다 님보다 저저다 님보다 저저다 님보다 저저다 저다 님보다 저저다 이거는 뒤에 남게 Okay. So now with the chanting Heart Sutra mantra. Taya da
gate gate para gate para sangate bodhiso taya da gate gate para gate para sangate bodhiso taya da gate gate para sangate bodhiso
이런 주신데 그래서 괜히 받으면 rangi tu yang orang sebut ni sih sama cerita ni awal logi deh sambara
Sangate Parasangate Bodhisoha Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisoha Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisoha Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisoha Tayata Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisoha Tayata Gate Gate Parasangate
상계남니 둘레지 춘이 처마이 공부 하민남니 아미 다원남니
Gate Gate
한남 덴버네버나 상계는
Parasangate Bodhisoha Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Sangate Bodhisoha Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisoha
Now do the Bhajasattva mantra. Om Bhajasattva Samaya Manupalaya Bhajasattva Teno Budista Dido Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Subokayo Me Bhava Anurado Me Bhava Sarvasiddhi Me Bhayancha Sarva Karma Sujame Sitam Chiryam Kuru Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vashrama Me Mush Vashrabhava Mahasamaya Sato Ahumpe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Teno Patista Dido Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Subokayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sarvasiddhi Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Susame Sitam Chiryam Kuru Hum Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vashrama Me Mushi Vashrabhava Mahasamaya Sato Ahumpe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Teno Patista Dido Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Subokayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sarvasiddhi Me Prayacha Chiryam Kuru Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vashrama Me Mush Vashrabhava Mahasamaya Sato Ahumpe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Teno Budista Dido Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Subokayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava
Sarva siddhi me prayacha, sarva karma sujame, siddham shiyam kuru, ha 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 ho Bhagavan, sarva tathagata vashrama me musha, vashram bhava mahasamaya sadhu ahum be. Om Bhaja Sarva Samaya Manubalaya Bhaja Sattva Deno Budista Dino me bhava Sudhokayo me bhava Subhokayo me bhava Anurado me bhava Sarva siddhi me prayacha Sarva karma sujame Siddham chiyam kuru ha 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 ho Bhagavan sarva tathagata vashamame mush vashre bhava mahasamaya sadhu.
Gyava seje dembe tu do den doje namba jiben jinam jinjowa dinam dagi dila sujan neba ma je benza rakya simje neba chenye ba nyodo nene de jujen jowe nene male ba tadu jungwa me ba sho punzo so banga ba se jere woda jide sum jogo modu ma zo ba sanje be ma dama gi be jeng dini jidenge be taje dangbo di nyawarden be churu mi yuwa jideng ji taje la dam mi jo ba ju ji dam ba gi wona ma shi dini jidenge be taje nyeba gindu dam ba chuden de be no ge jo mi dam dam hama ngi ji be soji jo rang za jin da be je dini jidenge be taje sumba ni mo de le sen de ni mi guna ni zen ta don de le be kunjo sumgi taje jo okay. So we do the dedication. Yeah.
Oración de larga vida primero. Madre Tara, liberando del samsara. Tú Tare, liberando de los 8 temores. Tara, Madre que liberas, por favor otorga el don de la longevidad. Por las bendiciones de los gurus, raíz y del linaje, por los logros espirituales de los Yidan, dioses y diosas, por los métodos hábiles de las dakinis y los protectores del Dharma, que podamos realizar gozosamente la esencia de nuestras esperanzas. Gendun Tenzin, eres afable, benevolente y bondadoso. Por favor, permanece con nosotros durante una larga vida. Expande tus actividades iluminadas en todas las direcciones y continúa madurando y sustentándonos a mí y a todos los seres sintientes. Desde este momento y durante todas nuestras vidas, manténnos bajo tu tutela. Sé nuestro amigo, nuestro divino y virtuoso guía. Limpia la degeneración de la ignorancia. Ayúdanos a realizar rápidamente y alcanzar los 3 cuerpos de un Buda. Por la verdad de la realidad incambiable, por la bendición conjunta de la indestructible Sangha, que la esencia de estas oraciones se logre rápidamente. Que por los méritos de esta virtud pueda alcanzar rápidamente el estado de un Guru Buda y pueda llevar a ese estado a todo ser sin excepción. La mente de iluminación es suprema y muy preciada, que donde no ha surgido surja, que donde ha surgido no disminuya, que cobre cada vez más fuerza. La visión correcta del vacío es suprema y muy preciada, que donde no ha surgido surja, que donde ha surgido no disminuya, que cobre cada vez más fuerza. Así como el valiente Manjushri y Samantabhadra distinguieron los fenómenos tal cual son, yo también dedico estos méritos en la mejor forma, siguiendo su ejemplo perfecto. Dedico todas estas raíces de virtud con la dedicación que es considerada la mejor por los victoriosos asidos de los 3 tiempos para poder realizar todas las buenas obras.